Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with another Let's Talk video. In this video, we're going to talk about, well, it's not really this video. I'm going to make this a series. In this series, we're going to be talking about Traveler in all of its incarnations. There is Classic Traveler all the way up to Traveler, the Mongoose Edition, 2nd edition. So we're going to do some retro talks. We're going to talk about Mongoose Edition. We're going to talk about ships. We're going to talk about trade. We're going to talk pretty much everything there is to be talking about in Traveler. In this video, in today's video, we're going to talk about this box set called the Pirates of Drinax. Just to say this as like a disclaimer, I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for the last probably 3-4 years now with a good group of guys and gals. And we played at the game store, we played here in my man cave. We've had players come and go. We've even like taken a break from D&D, played some Traveler, then went back to D&D. So we've put a lot of hours and a lot of game time into D&D. But D&D is not my favorite role-playing game. Traveler has always been my go-to role-playing game. Playing D&D has been fun, but not like Traveler could be. So what I want to do is I want to introduce this new group of players to the Traveler universe, and hopefully we can keep this campaign going for a good long time. So my disclaimer is I've been away from the Traveler mainstream for a couple of years now, and something came by and went under the radar, and that's Traveler, the Mongoose 2nd edition. Because I have the Mongoose 1st edition, which I thought was a pretty good edition. But when the Mongoose 2nd edition came out, I went and checked it out, and I really like the 2nd edition. But we're going to get into another video. That's going to be another video talking about the actual core rules. And then while I was... this video might go on a minute because the Pirates of Drinax is a big campaign book. So I want this to be kind of a first impression, open boxing style review of the Pirates of Drinax, because this is the campaign that I'm going to run my players through. I've started them, well, we've only really made characters, but I'm going to start them through an old classic Traveler adventure, Tarsus, just to get their feet wet and understand the mechanics of the game. And then we're going to transition into the Pirates of Drinax. That's my plan. And it seems like shouldn't be any problem at all. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and open this. Now, I just got this morning while I was at work. It's shrink wrapped. Right, of course. You know, any box set is shrink wrapped. This is an expensive box set. Not only is it expensive, it weighs a ton. If I had to, my mailing scale wouldn't be able to weigh this. This thing's got to weigh, I don't know, 10 pounds? I mean, this thing is heavy. It's extremely heavy. And there's a logo on the back I don't recognize. It's called Mongoose Publishing. But then it's got Studio 2 Publishing. I don't know what that means. The MSRP is $99.99 USD. So you're looking at $100 MSRP for this. You can find it in various places like Amazon or other like Miniature Market for less than... I don't even think you can find Traveler stuff at Miniature Market now that I think about it. But FRP, now, there's a lot of places. But I got this on Amazon, and I probably paid $70, something like that for it. So I thought I was getting a good deal. I saw a previous review of this box set, and that was about 8 months ago, right? That he recorded it and uploaded. So this thing's been out for more than a year. The reason why I say that is because my understanding is Mongoose had published some of their online magazines, and in those online magazines was some of the content that's in these books. And then they decided, since it was very popular, they're just going to go ahead and create their campaign setting. Okay, well, let's go ahead and dig into it. I got an X-Acto knife right here so I can cut this easier. And I'm sorry for the late review on this. Mainly, that's where I was going into the apology was I had been out of Traveler for about 2 to 3 years, and I hadn't really paid attention to any new modules or adventures that came out. And I'm personally super excited about some new content. You can't see it; it's off the screen. But if you ever watch any of my other videos, I've got a whole shelving cabinet over there full of all kinds of Traveler material, all the way back to 1977. Okay, it's in a slipcase. This is an old style gaming slipcover, right? There used to be like games that would come in slipcases. So these books are in this slipcase. Pretty cool. Tucked in there with the books is this map poster. You can put all the books back. Set that off to the side just a second. I want to talk about this map poster. In one of the books, I think it's the Trojan Reach book, it says, post this map on your gaming wall, right? Let the players make plans and strategize over the map. Okay. Oh, this is nice and thick. It's thick paper. It's like a glossy photo paper, but it's thick. Probably 24 pound, maybe even more than that. Uh-oh. There's a little bitty tear right there. I don't know if you can see it. About 1 inch. You know what I can do? Put a piece of tape over that. Done. Fixed. Okay. There are some dents and dings. I noticed the box was dinged, but that's okay. Can't help. Can't be perfect. It's a double-sided poster, and that was me dinging it. Okay, so let's do it this way. Let's go sideways. This is the Trojan Reach sector with all the subsectors. The hexes are a little bit bigger than what I'm used to. I've got my Spinward Marches map over there. They're probably about 1/2 inch per hex, maybe 3/4 of an inch. These are a full inch hexes. This is a big poster map. There's a couple of things on this map. One, it breaks down each sector and what's in each sector. But down here, it shows you the galactic map, which is a lot bigger, you know, with the Imperium, the Vargar Extent, Zodani, the Oslons, and it shows you where the Trojan Reach is. It's right in this section. Spinward Marches are just coreward of this map. And if you look at the top right, they tell you the subsector that is adjacent. You got the Five Sisters, District 268, which is where my players are right now, to Glisten and to Trin's Vale, right? And then what else is cool about this map is, I guess because they were able to blow it up a little bit bigger, the UWP is right there on the hex. You don't have to look it up. You can say, oh, it's right there. He's got a 3 law level. He's got an 8 tech level. He's got a C type starport. He's got a gas giant in the area. You know, it's all right there. And because the campaign, it's the Pirates of Drinax, is supposed to start at Drinax. This is a kind of a cool thing I just now noticed. The planet of Drinax is, or the system of Drinax is right there. And right in this area, it says Drinax chain. So it kind of gives you the idea right there. This is the Oslon space there. This is the Florian main, the Florian League. Belgardians, the Strend cluster, the Sindalan main, which is this area here. Cenis Foederate. Foederate? I don't know. Is it supposed to be Federate? Is that O extra? I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up, see if that's what that is all about. But then you got the Empire right there, which, you know, their Empire's got the red border. It's got the Imperial Scout Service symbol on there because, you know, they're the ones that had to map this. And then gives you a little bit of things. Now we're going to flip it. This map could be folded, but see what my thought process was, if I post this on the wall, they're never going to see this back side. I can't put it up on the wall. I got to lay it on the table and we can flip it over when we need it. Because there is a floor plan right here and here of the ship that the players will be getting as part of the campaign. Spoiler alert, if you're planning on playing this, when I review these books, it might ruin something. But I'm going to try not to ruin anything because I'm just giving the review and I haven't really fully read all the books yet. I did get some digital copies of this so that I can copy and paste and print certain things without having to scan it. It would already be in the PDF. So I'd already did it. And so I've already been reading. But there's the ship. It's called... Okay, it doesn't say here, but it's the Drinax Harrier is what it is. But I could fold the map to make it more manageable to have the Imperial Palace right here, or I could have their ship right here, right? These I like to play on 1-inch squares, mainly because I like to play with miniatures. And I like to put players, and when they have gun combat or something like that, they move around on the map. If I was to use this is only 1/4 of an inch. So you can't really use anything on that except maybe really small counters or something. But that's cool on the ship, tells you what everything is. Details are in the books. And then there's the palace, you know, with the star. This is a floating city, right? Where the king of Drinax lives on this floating palace above the wasteland of his planet. But yeah, this is really cool just to show the players and they can kind of get a feel of where everything is. Nothing too detailed. It gives a lot of room for referees like myself to come up with, you know, what's down each hallway. And it folds up nice and neat. Yeah. I think I'm going to maybe mount, no, I'm not going to mount it on a board because that's what I've done with all my other maps. And then I'd laid the board on the table. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave this as a poster. And we'll mess around with that. All right, so let's get to the meat and potatoes, right? There are 3 hardbound books inside this slipcover. It's got a weird smell to it. Yeah, it's not a smell I'm used to. It's not like a new book. It's like a new starship. I'm not sure what that smell is. And it's got kind of a rubberized feel, so it's not gonna slip out of my hands. And then you got the gold leaf over here on the cover, right? I thought that was pretty cool. But it makes it look elegant, right? It's an elegant look. Now, I've been tossing this up in my head over the last few days, knowing what this looks like, having seen other reviews. I don't think it really matters what's on the cover, right? So having an elegant look is preferable, right? But then on the other hand, when you look at every other book ever made, ever, for role-playing games, there's always a picture of like the mood or the theme or the immersion on the cover to kind of get you in the mood of what's actually happening in that book. Like this book's got a bunch of guns on the wall for sale because this is a catalog. But this, it's heraldry, right? And I think it might, I don't want to say this. I think they were going for the elegant look. I think that's what they were going for. But to me, it feels lazy. Like they didn't want to get an artist to draw something. They just wanted to put the title on it. I mean, they had to get an artist to do this. But it just, I don't know, it feels kind of lazy to me. Okay, but this thing is put together pretty sturdy. And on the back, it's got this whole diatribe of like the Pirates of Drinax is a truly epic sandbox campaign packed with enough adventure and source material to keep even the most dedicated traveler going for years. Okay, so what they're saying is, if me as a referee, I can run this campaign and it's gonna continue. I could stretch it out for years and years and years, right? Because there's enough material in there. Well, guess what? Yes, there's enough material because every planet's got a stat. But if a planet doesn't have an adventure, or if the planet doesn't have a detailed, like, starport or city, then it doesn't have the information in here. It has the information in here. I have to make that up for these planets. So that's misleading, in my opinion. I think that it has enough guidance for a referee to be able to make a campaign that will last for years. Yes. But does it have the material in here to last for years? No, I don't think so. And then it's talking about the King Drinax, hiring the players, and 3 books from the Pirates contain the full campaign. The Trojan Reach sector, the rules, and source material. And they also have a whole section about the Aslan, many new ships, and the giant poster. It's everything you could ever need to run an action-packed traveler campaign. Disagree. It's not everything. It's cool. I bought it. I wanted it. And I'm going to use it. But it's not everything you need. Like, you need this. You need the core rules. You need players. You know, there's all kinds of things you need. Okay, so let's go to the red book. That's a beautiful color of red. It's like blood red. It's not this red, right? It's kind of like a blood red. It's pretty cool. And look at that. Lazy. They reused the same cover. Yeah. Now, it could have said the Pirates of Drinax Traveler and then had like the ship or something on there, and then it could have said like campaign box set or something like that on the box, but no, it doesn't. Or here it could say Pirates of Drinax main book or something like that. It doesn't. But this is the campaign book. It's got a feel to it. I'm not going to say rubberized, but it feels rubberized. It feels like it's got a non-slip case. And then when you look at it really closely, you can see that colorized are some stripes both ways, making it look like it's got fabric, but it feels like it's rubber, not fabric. Okay, that's a thick book. That is a thick book. Trying to find where the last page number I can see is. This says photocopy permitted on all this stuff. 267, 268. So right in the 275-ish pages. Pretty cool. Black, or whatever they call that, the part of the book that you disguise the folds of the cover. And then it's got a new something smell. That's not a new book smell. And some of the art, it's the Mongoose art. If you're familiar with the Mongoose, books, I don't know if there's two different artists. I might have to do a little review on that. But these pictures, that looks very surreal, looks good. You got stars and falling stars, shooting stars, and then you got this city on the side of the cliff. But then you got this. I don't know if you can see that, but these people right here, they're cartoon characters. I don't like that. In a role-playing game, I don't want to see cartoon characters. I want them to be drawn realistically, I don't know. Inside of the cave looks beautiful. And then that's a cartoon character, but it's not bad. It's a cartoon character, but it's not a bad cartoon character. What I want out of this, and it's not included, more maps. I can draw maps, and that's what they're saying. You could draw maps, but I want more maps. I want more detail on the planets. They don't have any detail on the planets. It's like they give you, it's an open world campaign. So you give the players a goal. You say, I want you to go do this thing, but I'm not going to tell you how or where to go do that thing. That's good. That lets the players make decisions on their own, try to figure out how they're going to do it. But as a referee, it means I have to have every direction planned. Like I have to know that they're going to go to the left or to the right or to the up or to the down. So I'm going to have to create an enormous amount of backup material for the players before we start this part of the campaign. That's okay. I'm running Tarsus first. But as a referee, I don't want that. If I'm going to pay $100 for a campaign, I want you to detail some of the cities and some of the worlds and some of the NPCs and stuff like that. And it's very vague. There's like 10 missions, and the missions are all super vague. And I don't really know if I'm going to be able to keep up with the players, is what I'm trying to say. They're going to go to a planet, and hopefully I'm going to have it prepared because I know how far they can jump. Their ship can jump only so far, right? So I'll have all those planets prepared, and then they'll make a decision to go to one, but they might not stop there. They might just refuel and then move on to the next planet, and I might not have that prepared. And then that's going to be me creating stuff on the fly and stuff like that. And I think that takes away from a campaign when the referee has to make up stuff on the fly when he should have everything ready to go, know his world, know where all the bad guys are, know where all the good guys are. And if I don't know that as a referee, I think that's a problem. There isn't, but that's me. I'm going to have to, it tells me that I'm going to have to prepare to run this game. I can't just pull it out of the box. Like any other D&D module, I could pull out of the box and we could play that minute. I could run the campaign because it tells me what's in every room, tells me where everything is on the map, it tells me who is trying to do what. That's not this. There's a few NPCs, major NPCs. There's a few major NPCs that it deliberately says, come up with some motivation for these guys. They're either good guys or they're bad guys or they're... If you're going to make me do all that in the first place, why why print something that's going to tell the referee, do it yourself? It just, I don't know, it just feels wrong. But there's enough good information in here. Don't get me wrong, I'm backing up a little bit. There's enough good information in here to make it valuable to me. There are some missions. There is a whole quest. There are some worlds, and there's some guidelines on how we should push the players and what kind of conversations they have with certain NPCs. But it's the groundwork. This is the foundation of your campaign. You have to build your house on top of this foundation. You can't just play it straight out of the book. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, now we're going to go to the gold book. This seems to be gold, or maybe a brownish gold. It looks like gold. Bronze, maybe bronze. I don't know. The Trojan Reach. And they put a bunch of hexes on here. And I'm thinking, okay, it's like a hex map or whatever, like the map. That's pretty cool. This is also, the Trojan Reach is the sector you're in. This is a freaking thick book. I did not anticipate this book being as thick. Based on the PDFs that I've read, it seemed like it was just a few pages. If, and I might rescind my comment, but if this book talks about the planets in detail, then I will have stepped on my own tongue, okay? So, let's see. Commerce Raider, the Harrier. Okay, so a couple of pages about the ship. Gives you the second edition stats for it. That's awesome. What kind of crew you need. Whether the location's on the board. So it's really talking about the ship. Then it's talking about welcome to the Reach. Starting the campaign. The campaign's here. This is what kind of threw me off when I was reading it. The campaign's here, but starting the campaign is here. It talks about how you introduce the players to the king. Why is this not the very first chapter or the first paragraph or the first page in that book? I don't know. But it's in this book. And then it talks about the floating palace, which it should, because that's a feature on a planet. Talks about the people down on the ground. Talks about the royal family. The powers in the Trojan Reach. So it's talking about various different powers. This is cool. I like this. It gives you an Aslan calendar, which is different than a human calendar. Thought that was a nice touch. And then it half this book, maybe not half the book, but I'm going to turn. Okay. Let's stop. Okay. This part of the book, which is a good 90 pages, is creating Aslan characters. So if you want to do that, that's cool. And then the central supply catalog, it's not like human stuff. This is all Aslan equipment. Aslan guns. Okay. Aslan armor. Aslan everything. Aslan vehicles. Gives you another 30 pages. And then exploring the Trojan Reach. That doesn't start until page 120. And then talks about the great clans. And this has got that same smell. I'm like, whew. That's good though. Zodani, they're really far away, so you don't really have to worry about that. But you got the Aslan. Got corporations in the area. Florian trade, general development. That doesn't last long. Page 132. Then it goes into the subsectors. And this is where I need to double check to see if it helps me or hurts me. Gives me stats. I can get the stats out of the Traveler map online. Then it gives each planet 2 or 3 paragraphs per planet. I say planet, I mean system. And then it gives me the map of the subsector. There's probably 5, 10, probably like 20 systems on this subsector, and it only gives me 7 of them in detail. I got to work out the rest. Then it goes into another subsector. 7 of 8, 9. Okay, 10 of them in detail. Still 20 on that subsector. So I'm going to make a leap of faith and say about half of them are detailed. Oh no, not even. This is like 5. 4 worlds. Does give me a worm. A critter. That's cool. So yeah, I've got, and a few, if they gave me more pictures of like, this is what the world looks like, or this is what the spaceport looks like, I can play with that. But when I have to do all the work, I have to dig up photos, I got to draw maps for cities, I got to draw maps for continents, or I have to randomly produce them on the traveler map or what have you. I shouldn't have to do that, is what I'm trying to say. Now, if this was a book sold separately, that was just, hey, this is the Trojan Reach, and if it was that thick and that was all of the systems in the Trojan Reach, that would be cool. But because half the book is Aslan and making Aslan characters and getting Aslan equipment, it takes away from the second half of the book, which is trying to define all the subsectors. I'm disappointed with this book, I'm going to tell you. Yeah, very. Okay, I'm still, okay, and then Drinax, right? It's got like 4 paragraphs when that's the main planet you're going to be going to. Should have 2 or 3 pages at least. Maybe a couple of cities, or, well, there's only one city, so it's the floating one. And a lot of these worlds you'll never get to because of something like that. This sector is called binary, I do believe, and subsector. Look how far that is to get to there. And same thing from over here. There's no way to get to these worlds with any conventional jump drive. So without like jump 6 with all kinds of extra fuel or something, there's no way you could do it. So why even have them in there? This is a cool map. Yeah, so I'm kind of disappointed with this book as well. Ships of the Reach. That's cool. It's got a little ship here. That's your ship. Okay, that's cool. It's purple. It's got the same kind of rubberized feel, but then you can see the stripes that they have printed inside the rubber. It's got this same thing as from the rulebook. You got the Fast Trader with its map. You got a Star Ray class interceptor. Pretty cool. It's got a claw. These are not your classic Star. That's good because this is a book of other ships, but these are not like your classic ships that you would find in a normal Traveler game. These are new ships or reprinted ships. See, like this is a subsidized merchant type RQ, so it's a little bit different than a normal subsidized merchant. But that just looks like lazy artwork when they could have used a subsidized merchant picture. Magenta class repair ship. Okay, that's interesting. And we got a patrol tender. Okay. A liner. Escort carrier. The reason why you would need ships like that is because of the main overall mission is piracy. This is the Pirates of Drinax. So of course you're going to need liners and cargo ships and any other kind of ship you might encounter. It's going to be, if you got a bunch of Traveler players, or if you got a long-standing Traveler referee, it's going to be good to have new and unusual ships that people aren't like super familiar with. And then of course you've got the Aslan ships, and they're Navy, they're Scout, they're Courier, they're Seeker, they're Messenger, Light Trader, Researcher, because you might be striking some Aslan ships as well. That's an unusual looking whatever that is. Okay. Yeah, and their ships all look rounded. That's definitely a cool book just to have for any campaign. I mean, you can take those ships anywhere, really. Okay. So we've talked about the Pirates of Drinax, the books, what you're getting in the books. Now let me kind of break it down to give you a review of it. I've already read these books. I've read them enough to tell me that I wanted this box set. I wanted this box set because I wanted to run this campaign. After reading the PDFs that I read, I did want to run this game. I was willing, and I knew I was going to have to take on the responsibility of making the worlds and fleshing out my universe. In the past, I have always run printed modules or printed adventures or pre-planned, preordained type adventures, like the Traveler adventure. You know, you go from one planet to the next, and it's got every single planet laid out. So it's going to be a challenge for me, and I was willing to take that challenge on to actually flesh this campaign out. But the reason why I wanted it was I knew there was enough information in here to help me flesh a campaign out, because I didn't want to write a whole campaign all by myself. So I used Mongoose to give me the foundation, and then I'm going to write it. That means when you get this box set, if you get this box set, and you run it through your players, they're all going to have a different experience than the ones that mine do. Because when you build your house of cards, you're going to build it in your style. You're going to build it with your type of cities and your type of encounters and stuff like that. And then when I build it, it's going to be my type of encounters and my cities and ships and creatures on the planet and stuff like that. So it's good that the players can't predict what's going to happen if they have the box, because you're going to be making it up. But it's a lot of work for the referee. So if you're planning on getting this and you want to run it as a campaign, my warning to you is understand it's only the foundation. You have to make up your own campaign. I find that to be I'm going to say refreshing for me, but if you're trying to get new players into a Traveler universe and you want to get players that aren't familiar with Traveler to buy Traveler, I'm talking to Mongoose right now, this is not the kind of campaign you want to release. You want to release one book this thick with all the details that you need to play a good campaign, maybe 30 major adventure bullet points, maybe 100, something like that, and flesh out all the planets and where you anticipate the players going. Artwork, I'm not too pleased with Mongoose's artwork. I never have been. I don't think the artists at Mongoose, at least the character artists, or the gun artists. I look at some guns in their books, in these books, and they look like a 12-year-old drew them, or maybe even younger, maybe a 5-year-old, and that's bad. you need to get somebody that's a little bit more technical, a technical artist, to draw them. Even if maybe it just costs too much to get a good technical artist. I don't know. Covers, I don't like them. Don't like these covers. It's too dry. It's too lazy. Are they elegant? Yes. Are they top notch? Yeah, I think it's really good quality. I think the quality of it's really good. I just don't like the look of it. I don't like the non-colored scenic covers. Price-wise, okay, let's go to price. I think it's a really good price. You know, having looked at the thickness of this book, I'm gonna compare this to Wizards of the Coast. I'm gonna compare it to Dungeons and Dragons because that's the game I've been playing the last 3 years. This book would probably cost me $50, and then this book would cost me $50, and then this book here would probably cost me. Honestly, it's super thin, so this book would probably cost me $40. So there's $140 worth of D&D books. And then you throw in another $20 map, that's $160. And I got it for $70. And then you also get a slipcover, which you don't get it with any of the D&D books. So value, I think you're getting a great value. Just understand there's a lot of work. All right, guys. Now remember, this is going to be a series. I'm going to probably take and do a review each week of various books, like the Central Supply Catalog, the Core Rules, the Mongoose Traveler 2nd edition, first of all, and then I'm going to go do some retro reviews on like maybe T20 or Mark Miller's Traveler or T5 or some of the other Travelers that I have, just to give you, and miniatures too. I'm going to be painting some ship miniatures. All right, I'll catch you in the verse.